Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you're in. Welcome to the Pisces January 2020 reading. I hope that you're doing well. Little Apollo here woke up from a nap and wanted to say hi, give everyone some love. So I thought I'd bring him up for a second. I'm so excited to be ending the year with your sign. I just have to say that. And I want to start a few minutes early because I could see that the chat room was very active. So hope everybody's doing well. Hope you can hear me. Let me know if you're getting everything loud and clear. And I wanted to say that this morning I woke up early because there was so much to kind of talk about. A lot of times when I do the live readings, I'll actually dream about the sign that I'll be doing that morning. So I already know what we're going to focus on during our meditation later. And it also helped inform what's coming through for the channeled message. So really excited to be here for you and thanks for confirming, by the way, that you can hear and see me. But really glad to be ending the year with you. We just got through a solstice as well. So this is going to be a really potent, I would say, and powerful reading today. So I'd like to start by just acknowledging that this is the last live reading. This is something that I'm going to continue doing, though, in January. So this will be your last, I should say, 2020 January reading. And then the February readings will be the same. I'll be starting those probably around the second week, around the 6th. I'm going to post some dates on my website. I already have them planned out. So we'll be doing the same thing over the course of January for the following month. So my goal is that each and every month you'll have the next month's readings about a week before the month is over. So that was something that I've wanted to do for a while, and shifting into the live format has allowed that. So super excited to continue with that. If you want to see the schedule, it'll be on my website. But again, I'll post that a little later today. If you ever miss one of these live readings, or if you happen to tune in late today, you can always watch it for a replay directly after it's finished. And so don't worry about that. I know a lot of times people join late and be upset that they've missed it. You're not going to really miss anything except sort of the live interchange here. The other thing I'd like to remind you is you can always use this for your sun, rising, and moon, or you can watch for someone that you care about in your life. And one thing that's unique today is that we have Super Chat available. So if you really like what you're seeing and you just like to show a little bit of love, you can use that little symbol next to the emoji thing, and that will allow you to do a Super Chat or put a sticker in. And that really means a lot to me. It's a great way to show live support, and it helps me continue to buy materials. And so I just want to say thanks. There's a lot of other ways to connect with me and show support. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, and my moderators will also put the links there in the chat. But for now, I want to get started on the reading because, like I said, there's a lot coming through. So if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. You know how I work. But if you're brand new, I'd like to just talk about the format. And again, we have a couple extra things today, so it's good to review this. I begin with channeled information. And this is when I select a deck of cards, meditate, and I share whatever comes through in whatever I'm seeing, feeling, and hearing. And that's what I do about half an hour before. When you see me pop in and out of chat, I'm meditating and writing stuff down at that point. After that, we're going to pull out the full Celtic cross and look at all of the high points, any of the challenges that might be coming through as well for the month, and I'll highlight those. And then I expand the forecast to include health, wealth, love, and destiny. This particular month, because it's live, and I think every month after this, I'm going to put something special in the mix. This particular month, it's going to be an overview of 2020. So I'm going to pull 4 cards. Each one represents 3-month chunks of the next year of 2020. And then after that, we'll meditate. And I already got the image for this. I woke up seeing a comet, and I really love the energy of a comet because it's transformational. It goes from sort of one state to another as it gets closer to the light. And it changes how you perceive and what you see. And I think that there's a lot of that energy coming through for you today. So that's a nice segue into the channeled message for you. So I wrote down 3 words as I was starting to see the energy of a comet. And I wrote down transform, reveal, and illuminate. And so the transformation for some of you could be subtle, or it could be really big. You could be deciding to literally make some sort of a move or a shift from one place to another in your life. So place of work, place of where you're living, even a relationship status could be somehow in movement. For the rest of you, there could have been an internal transformation going on over the past year, in 2019, actually, that's going to affect 2020. So what this could mean for you is that maybe you've gone through some education, or you've processed some emotions. Maybe you've even been talking to someone, going to therapy. All this healing, all this work has been done. And now you're ready to kind of step into your power in the new year. And that's the reveal moment. So the transformation was subtle and kind of under the surface, but the reveal now is you basically opening up your wings and allowing for the change to happen. And as a result of that, something new is going to come into your life. Sometimes just realizing that you are different, that you are ready for the change will bring it, and you'll see things in a different way. So I really, really loved the energy around the comet, and also the transformational opportunities that come with that too. And that reveal thing for some of you could also be a chance to be seen. So if you're trying to get attention, for those of you that might work in like trying to get a public office of some sort in politics, or if you're an actor, or if you're an artist, or if you're just trying to make change and bring attention to an issue that you're really passionate about, this energy can also go into shaping and shifting that kind of thing as well. So really powerful month for you. One of the most beautiful images that I received for any sign came through for you. And again, really wonderful way to kind of wrap up this year and begin next year as well. So let's go ahead now and take a look at the cards. At this point, I like to turn the camera down and remain quiet. But as you know, afterwards, we'll cover every card that I pull and make it relevant to what's coming through for January 2020, and as also the year of 2020, since this is really going to set the tone for the new year as well. Okay, let's go ahead and turn the camera down and see what's coming through for you. Okay, I think I saw a question there popping up and asking if I've done the reading of Cancer. Yes, all the signs are done today. You can go to my website to look at those and watch them on replay. I'll also be sending out a newsletter, so if you haven't already signed up for that, please do. At the end of every 12 videos, I will send out a link so you can watch them all, and it'll come into your inbox. All right, let's talk about this month. So we have the energy of the dragon here. The dragon's upside down, but to me, that's not as important here, other than it's a subtle energy. And this is fire, and I also see fire with the comet that I looked at, but the comet is fire and ice. And I think for some of you, stepping into that energy of fire is going to be what's really interesting, because it might have been subtle. You might have been sort of in a cooling off period where you were supporting other people or focusing on other things. And this year is really about owning your fire and bringing in the energy of creation, of forging new things. I kind of think of Hephaestus, the god of fire, or Vulcan, creation. So that's what this is. This could be for the creative or artist types out there, a chance to really see something to fruition. We're looking at the eye of the dragon. We're not really looking at the fire. So I've said it in many signs this month, but I believe that being able to see what you want to bring into being is just as important as the doing it, because seeing creates the opportunity, allows for that sort of passageway to start to exist. So your vision, your clarity, your planning is going to be really important over the course of 2020. And you're going to set that off by starting now, for those of you that are watching in December, and especially for those of you that watch this on replay in January. You really want to get the plan together and just keep your eye on that, whatever it is that you're trying to create. Don't let it sort of get lost in the shuffle. especially if you're busy and you have a really stressful job or a lot of family obligations, or if you're in school and you're kind of being pulled in a lot of different directions. This is saying like, eye on the prize, stay focused, put the fire, put the energy into that. And that's really going to pay off. The other thing is about perception, since we're looking at the dragon's eye here as well. So I think for many of us, being able to see ourselves in a different light, looking at this, where the transformation has to happen within for the illumination, for that visibility, for others to see it. So the biggest change that happens for many of you is just imagining something differently. So I think we've talked a decent amount about that. I'm really excited about it. One last thing I want to say, though, with the dragon is it's a healing sign, too. So I feel like some of you might be choosing to heal yourself emotionally, release something from the past. And I know there's a lot of people that work just like with angelic energy. They can work with dragon energy. And for me, when I'm looking at this, there's a lot of green in this particular dragon, a little bit of green. And then we're also looking at some of the lower chakras there. But I think there's some healing to be done with the heart and also with maybe relationships and power balance for you as well. Let's move along to the center card. I really love what we're seeing here. I actually do think there's a lot of relationship harmony coming this month, because the first card is King of Cups and he was upright. So the upright King of Cups portends really good things. It's about being able to access your creative side, about love coming into your life, about also being able to see others in a way that is kind, is sensitive, is just. So it's for you that can also represent you. So I love that we have a powerful representation of you right at the center. So you're in your element in January, and right around that, when you start to feel excited about all that's going on, we have the 10 of Cups showing a return on this passion, on this, hopefully for some of you, on this revelation moment where you're coming out, you're understanding something, and other people are seeing you in a different way. So this could be a new love, new friendship. With 10 of Cups, I'm not really seeing work. I think this really has to do with relationships in your life. So it could be a partnership, it could be a business partnership, but I think most of you it's love. So looking at your relationships that matter, friendships, family, and loved ones. This is a chance to really bring them into balance, into focus. And I think at the beginning of the month anyway, to possibly put a little bit more energy in making sure that you feel supported as well. The 10 of Cups cuts both ways. But this is not upright or reversed. It's actually a modifying card for the King of Cups. So this is saying, making sure that it really is more in that balanced state, that you're not over in one direction, not giving too much, not receiving too much. And so I think that part of your life, as long as it's in balance, you're going to be able to handle anything that comes through over this, I would say, this month and this year. Looking at deep past, I feel like many of you might be actually changing jobs, because we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, and then we have Justice in reverse in the crowning position. Now, I know a lot of you out there don't understand why I read reverses. I do that because a reversal shows me an additional layer of information. And you can't just, maybe some people can, but I see a card differently when it's reversed. So Justice in reverse actually is usually about stepping away from something, deciding that it doesn't work. It can be the equivalent of a no. Where the up, when it's in this position, it's basically just about deciding. This is the decision it's already made. This one, you haven't quite decided yet. So there's a big difference. So I feel like some of you already know that you have to step away from something in your life. It could be a relationship, because we have two different characters here. We have the King of Cups and we have the Page of Cups. This can also indicate a delivery about a relationship or something important. So some of you might be stepping out of a love relationship. Some of you might be stepping out of a job, and some of you might be doing it because of the two. So you might have a loved one and you're going to follow them to a different part of the country or a different part of your region. Or you might be deciding to go after something you love, and it's a passion sort of thing. So the heart is very important in matters of finance over this period of time, and relationships could also be interwoven with that. If you're single and happy, this could just show a partnership opportunity coming through, but it's going to basically change the way you're doing business or the way that you're seeing your products and services. So people play a very, very important role, and the people that you care about play a very important role in your money over the course of January. And I do think that you really want to find balance, because when the Wheel of Fortune is in reverse, you have everything that you need to be successful, but you might not be putting the energy in the right places. It can be about investment. It's not so much about debt. To me, that would maybe be more like the, Five of Pentacles or Seven of Pentacles or something. This, to me, always has the potential to be what you see here, something that's really positive and portends good things. But when it's reversed, it's not moving in the right direction. It's kind of sluggish. So you're going to do some things over the course of January that speed up your productivity, that bring in more finance, that bring in more return on your energy. And for some of you, better work-life balance, because we have all of these financial cards right around relationship cards. So at the very least, if you've just been working like 60-day weeks or 70-hour weeks, sometimes it feels like it's that long, right? Then it's time to say no to your boss. It's time to juggle things a little bit and really be smart about it. So justice overall is just finding the balance and standing by those decisions that you've made and knowing that you've really already weighed things out the way they need to be weighed out. And that's key. Justice can also indicate maybe a Libra that's coming into your life. Look at how that person plays a role, though, because the card was reversed. So there may be a little bit of friction between the two of you. And that's another area where you might try to find a way to be a little bit more peaceful. As we look at your near future, which can be the midpoint of the month, we have the Nine of Swords. This particular Nine of Swords, it was reversed, but I want to pull it up right because it's much different than the typical illustration, which can just be about sort of like stressing yourself out. I feel like this has to do with someone else in your life that could be creating that sense of sadness, uncertainty, or difficulty. And it's hard on this one because it feels like they may not be ready or willing to allow you to help them. And I think one thing that's important if you have someone in your life that kind of seems like they're constantly in need of assistance is to know that there has to be a desire for wanting to be better or wanting to receive insight. Sometimes people are still processing. So that person might be in a fragile state where they just need some time to be on their own. And if that's the case, let them sort of sort things out, keep an eye on them. But it feels like you have other things that you have to focus on. And that's part of this balance message that was coming through, which is give only what people need or want to be given. Sometimes I've been seeing that this month with the Queen of Wands in reverse. This month it's coming through as King of Wands in reverse in your environment. So I do feel like this has to do with being picky about what's worth your time. It doesn't have to just be a relationship. It could also be a coworker or a part of your life where you just feel like I keep putting time and energy and I keep trying to push this forward, but it's not working. One thing that I've found in my life is that sometimes if you try too hard at something that you get external signs where it's not supposed to be, the universe still won't open up the door for you. I'm going to give you a real life example. This was a long, long time ago, like almost, maybe 17, 18 years ago. It was a long time ago. I was applying for a job and I really wanted it. And it was an up and coming company up in Northern California. And I went on 5 interviews and it just seemed like they could not make their mind up. On the very last interview, I even got pulled over for a speeding ticket and they made me late. It made me late to the interview, which I knew was going to cost me the interview. So I just took a deep breath and realized that's not going to happen. I found a better job, one of the best jobs of my entire career, about a month or 2 later. And lo and behold, that company went out of business 5 months after I got the new job. And I remember sitting at my desk thinking, oh my God, that's why it didn't happen. Had I taken that path, I would have still been stuck in a part of the state that I wasn't supposed to be in. I moved to the southern part of California and got a really great job and never looked back. And I knew that there was something, it wasn't just, I had all the qualifications and I kept clicking with the people, but they couldn't make up their minds. And finally, at the end, it was even like the universe slowed me down and said, you're not going to get this. We're going to make it. We're making sure that you're not going to get it. I've had other things in my life where you keep trying and it just doesn't work. And I found that almost every time that happens, there's something far better when I redirect and try a different channel. So look at your life. It could be a relationship where you just keep getting back together with the person. It could be a job where you're trying to get noticed, but nobody's hearing you. It could be a school that you keep applying to, but you don't get accepted. Instead of beating yourself up, find something, someone, or an area that really wants your energy there. And also kind of look around and see, what am I missing? Because maybe there's something far better just on the horizon, okay? That's what this Nine of Swords is telling me. Different interpretation, but I read intuitively. So sometimes I see things that are beyond the card, and it kind of triggers that, and that's what I'm seeing. Part of that was driven by the sort of drama that's going on in this, but that's what I see. Don't force things, and if someone can't see you or won't meet you halfway, it was not meant to be, and the universe is trying to align a better situation. So release it, and then open up, okay? Let's go ahead and look at the ego of this month here, which is going to help you stay focused. And guess what? We have control here. We have the Chariot. And this is really about making sure that when you bring people into your life, when you bring projects into your life, and if you're in a relationship, that just making sure that you're on the same page. One thing that I always see with the Chariot is the two different animals. In this case, it's a ram. Usually it's a horse, but it doesn't matter. The important thing is that if you're in a partnership, husband, wife, wife, doesn't matter, whatever. Whatever kind of partnership you're in, or business partnership, if the other person is constantly kind of trying to go in the opposite direction, you can't move forward. And that's what we see with this, is that I think for some of you, this card is directly leading into it. So that could be where you're trying to realize, like, I can't make this work. And so if it's a job, it's stepping away from it. If it's a relationship, it's stepping away from it. It's at least getting some space or trying to communicate what's important to you. I think that's going to really help. The other thing with the Chariot is it shows me that if you focus on what you love, what really brings joy and fulfillment in your life, if you really focus on the friends, the family, and the opportunities around you that are supporting you, the month will start to move quickly. And this goes to what I kind of saw in the channeled message, which was the comet. And if you think about a comet, it spends most of its existence as sort of dormant. It's just ice and rock. But when it gets close to something that, like the sun, that heats it up, all of a sudden you see what we typically see in the night sky, all of the energy, the gases, the water vapors starting to come off of it, and it takes on a new form, it transforms. So I feel some of you are going from a dormant phase, or one where you're not recognized, into a place where you're activated. This could be that you finally find someone that really just kind of opens up your energetic field, whether it's a boss or a loved one, or an opportunity where you just light up like a Christmas tree. I kind of see all the energy lighting up. So this is what January is bringing into you. I would say don't settle for less than that moment of opening up. And that's something that you have to kind of like, you and only you can decide. With the Chariot card in reverse here, I would say the only other thing that I want to focus on is if there's anything that you need to do to really make sure that you're in the right direction, do it this month. You don't get many chances to embrace all of the energy that we see here. So I would say this is a chance to really think of it as a whole year trajectory. So any changes made during this month really help affect the next 11 after it. So make it count, okay? As we look in the environment, King of Wands in reverse. This is, I love King and Queen of Wands. It's really good for being able to manage, control, and also maintain order in your life. It's the quintessential sort of project management card. One thing that I'm looking at this one is that power doesn't always mean that you have to sort of like show it or sort of say it. I think good leaders know that they're good leaders and don't have to sort of, people around them will just simply recognize the qualities that they're trying to convey. So I think for you, if you can understand that I am loved, I am strong, and I am ready for the opportunities in front of me. I'm also willing to wait for people that can see that power and see that energy within. Then, by the way, thanks for the super chat. Then what's going to be able to happen is that it's going to allow for you to pull in a sort of situation where there's no codependency. Because whenever a boss or somebody around you just sort of sees that energy without you even having to kind of bring it up, you really know that this is the right place. This is the right place to be. So I think there's a subtle demonstrative energy that is coming through with the way you hold yourself, with the way you act, with the way that you think. And all of this kind of starts to push itself out, just like it's almost like an aura of a comet, right? And pretty soon it's going to create the change that you're looking for. So show who you are, don't tell who you are. Your actions, your history, your work experience, your reputation, that's what's going to be what pushes you up to the next level. And if whoever is around you can't see it, that's the litmus test to know that they just lack the imagination or the sort of clarity to understand who you are. And in that case, many of you will decide to find something else. All right, we have the Seven of Swords in hopes, fears, and opportunity. This one is really interesting because for me, normally the Seven of Swords has to do with someone presenting themselves but kind of acting differently, or maybe not telling the truth. For this, what I'm seeing is that there's going to be a lot of opportunities or people in your life that are kind of vying for your attention, but they're not all worth it. And because there's always discernment, there's always sort of peering through illusion with that card. So one thing that I want you to do, if we look at the horizon, we see the castle. And for many of you, I think this is the goal that you're trying to keep your eye on. Whatever you're trying to create, don't let someone give you sort of like a smoke screen or a promise of a shortcut or a different way. I think it's hard work. It's your own energy. It's your own effort. You know exactly how to get there. So make sure that the people that you engage for advice, partnership, and yes, any sort of clarity on how to get there, that they're the best possible choices. Thank you, Melissa. And I think that that's going to be really, really important for you. Five of Cups in the outcome. I think this is a great way to sort of end January. We have a chance for you to focus on what matters. Yes, there might be some sacrifice. With the Five of Cups, there's always something that you're walking away from. But I think sometimes less is more. And that's really the message with this card is if you can simply focus on a couple of things rather than trying to do everything at once, it's a blessing in disguise. And I think anyone or anything that falls away or any sacrifices made this month are actually going to bring you into that light. Just as I was giving you that personal example about being rejected 5 times for a job that I really wanted and then finding out that it didn't matter because they went out of business. They didn't even get bought out. They just went out of business. So I would have been stuck again. Instead, I found an opportunity that was timely. Like that person was going to get hired within a month. So everything worked out. If you lose something, something better is around the horizon. And that's going to be maybe revealed later, but you just have to trust in this energy that I kept seeing with the comet. Okay, let's go ahead and expand the forecast. I look now at health, wealth, love, and destiny. With each of these cards, I'll get an additional lens and additional insights. Health for me includes mind, body, and spirit. A lot of times, emotionally, how we feel, and energetically, any sort of blocks that we might have, these things are very, very important to how much we can bring into our life. This card was reversed, but I want to pull it upright. This is all about harmony, finding balance in your life. We see this person playing what looks like an instrument, but it's a very abstract painting. But when you look at it, it's right around the center chakras, around the heart. I would say 3rd chakra, 4th chakra, even going into some of the lower chakras. So I would say this month, grounding is essential. And then really making sure, as we saw at the center, this goes hand in hand with the King of Cups. If you are in a place of emotional health, harmony, and well-being, then everything around you is going to resonate in a really, really positive way. And that mental health and emotional health almost outweighs anything else going on in your life. We saw the monetary card, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, but that is actually in the past, and we're looking at finding balance with, does it feel good for me? Do I like who I'm with at work and in life? Everything has to feel good here so that you can pick up the momentum needed to become the comet and go forward. I really want to kind of see you guys push into the new year with as much velocity and speed as possible. So this is your key to that. Looking at the cards now from a more sort of practical level, let me see if I can give you some additional insights on what to pay attention to. I really want you to watch. It doesn't matter if you are driving a car, riding a motorcycle or a bike, or any sort of transportation, particularly the type that you are pushing forward. This is not so much public transportation, but with the Chariot card here in the ego and with that reversed, I would say it's really important for you to stay focused. So if you're listening to the radio and the news is getting you distracted, or if you're talking on the phone, even if it's Bluetooth, there might be a chance, if you're in traffic or there's a lot of diversions, you need to stay focused. So that card reverse can show a fender bender or an unnecessary accident due to distraction, but particularly with respect to operating a vehicle. And if you happen to do that for work, whether you ride a truck or you operate machinery, just be careful. Don't multitask. stay really razor focused on that sort of thing. The rest of the cards here, I think, also have to do with making like a positive cycle in your life. For me, the Wheel of Fortune, it's just about sort of having a holistic view of what you're trying to do, getting everything moving in the right direction. So it's balance everywhere. We've got balance at the top and then the wheel. So investing in things like sleep, exercise, and making sure that you have fun. If you've been putting too much in any part of your life, basically, this is a time to bring some balance to set a better cycle. But fortunately, there's not a lot of cards here showing any problems. Cups are abundant here, as are swords. So I would say mental health, really, really important. Stress management, really important. And watch what you're drinking. If you're drinking too much of one thing, caffeine or alcohol, you want to moderate this month. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at your wealth card. And for me, wealth is not just money. It's how you're approaching opportunities and also how you might be either pulling them in or pushing them away. The biggest potential pitfall for Pisces this month is critically thinking, not like critical thinking is fine, but like thinking negatively, I should say, about an opportunity. Like it can't happen, it won't happen, or I won't be able to do this. Because we have this raven here, nevermore. So I think for you, if you think that something is impossible, then as a result, you're creating or manifesting that reality. If you also pay attention to the blocks that are coming through, however, if something just won't work, I talked about that, then there's something to the right, to the left, or some other direction that's going to be a much better investment. So pay attention to redundant sort of things in your life that I shouldn't say, I would say repetitive things where you keep getting no, 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 no. That's a sign. But in your mind, if you're trying to create something from birth, you have to kind of be positive about that. But so there's a little bit of both here. If you're getting external signs that you need to stop and move forward, observe that. If you're trying to create, you have to be positive there. So that one cuts both ways. The other thing, one other thing actually, as I'm looking at this, when I look at birds, to me, they represent people and gossip. So stay away from negative conversations, cliques, or anything where people around you may lack the imagination, as I said earlier, to be able to support your vision of where you want to go. Okay, let's go ahead and look at love and relationships, talking about people. So this one says, look through the situation. There we go. You can see it now. And for this one, it feels like many of you might be kind of lost in the task. And I think the important thing for you is to kind of take a break, take a breath, and empathize with, or at least try to put yourself in the shoes of that other person and think, what is it that they're truly saying or truly doing with this situation? Why are we here? How did we find ourselves here? And for some other people in your life, they may not be willing to kind of pause and be with you. So if they're too busy kind of looking at their own stuff and they can't meet you halfway, that gives you the information that you need to know, I can do better. So empathy is important, but making sure that that reciprocity exists, making sure that they meet you halfway, and a lack of empathy from the other side is just as telling. So try to be there for each other. If it doesn't work, that's also a sign this month. I feel that things should kind of be in a natural ebb and flow for you in January. So I don't know if you've ever experienced like meeting someone for the first time and you know in your heart, we're going to be great friends, or this person, I'm going to marry this person, or this is going to be one of the best relationships I've had, whatever it is. Sometimes there's that soul recognition. So if that soul recognition exists, awesome, observe it. If it doesn't, sometimes I get the reverse. I need to avoid this person, or this isn't going to work, or they don't like me, something's wrong. And as an intuitive, I can kind of see through that. All of you are starting to develop that same ability to see through things. And that's what we kind of see here with the dragon. There's something beyond what they're showing you that's coming through. And that, I think, is what we're also seeing here with the Seven of Swords. So people may come in one way, but actually have a different energy. So observe the energy of how you feel with that person. That's the most important piece, not what others think, parents, friends, etc., not what you're being pressured into trying to do. It's just important what you feel. All right, going to the Destiny card. For me, Destiny is what we're looking at for the whole year, and we're going to be looking at 2020 in a second. But this is like your long-term path. You can adjust this. This one is not set in stone, but it does show you where you're headed. And I think that's important. So we have fairy magic here. And notice the really deep heart energy here. It's all green at the center. And so for me, the magic part of this is what we've been talking about: believing, seeing, and staying focused. This part, for me, if you kind of look into like the history or folklore of like fairies or any of the sort of elemental spirits, they can sometimes be a little bit playful or tricky. And I think one of the things that might help you get into your creative flow and open up new things in your life is a sense that you could put some of the energy of the Fool in this month, which is, I'm going to take a chance. I'm not going to take myself that seriously. What's the worst that could happen? Maybe just, someone laughs at me. I can laugh at myself. We can have a good time. When you start to put yourself out there and just know that realness is going to help people kind of break through the facade and break through some of the walls that we all build up. I actually feel like that's where your power could exist. People will see your personality and start to fall in love with who you truly are. So don't be afraid to be playful, and definitely believe in what you can do. Those things are really important, and that will help you with that. The primary color that I see here that touches all the different parts of the card is the heart space. We see a little bit of maybe the first chakra and a little bit of maybe like the third eye or the seventh chakra. But most of this is about the heart. And then the rest of it is about not taking yourself too seriously, which I think is a good lesson for all of us. It's important to sometimes just go out on a limb, right? Let me quickly review what we just talked about, and then we'll get into some of the fun stuff. We'll look at 2020 as a whole for your sign, and then we'll do a very special meditation, the last of the year and the last of the decade, right? Can't believe that it's already the end of the decade. All right, so, and the beginning if you're watching this on replay. All right, so the channeled message this month, I saw the image of a comet. And for me, a comet's really special. It has that magic that we're seeing here. It goes from one state to another simply by moving through time and space. But as you get closer to your source, like the sun, that's when you can kind of come to life. So what we really want to focus on, especially in the meditation, is how to get you towards that thing that inspires you, that thing that kind of lights you up. You have a chance to reveal what you've been working on, many of you, because I feel like the transformation has been an internal thing for many of you. And then there's a chance now to kind of step into that and take a risk. We talked about the Fool there a little bit. And then help people perhaps see things from a different point of view. Some of you might be taking on the role of activist, educator, or mentor, and that's something that definitely came through with that particular message. So this was reversed, but the Dragon Catalyst card is basically helping you keep your eye on what's important, not to lose focus. The other thing here is that some of you may be going through a healing in your life. We talked about work-life balance. We kind of see that in the colors of the dragon as well. But I really think the main thing, I can't get away from the eye of the dragon. That's what we're really focusing on. So it's vision, perception, and really understanding things, being able to visualize. That's going to help you get to the next level. King of Cups, great time for creativity. Some of you might be finding a new relationship. I see things in the review that I don't always see when I first do it. When I'm looking at the review here, by the way, we have a 10 of Cups, and then we have a page and a king. There could be an age or maturity difference between you and your partner. A significant one too, because page is at one spectrum and king is at another. So this is like, this could be 10 years for some of you too. But the key thing here is that if it's true love and if you're enjoying each other's company, it feels like it's going to be fine. You might have to contend with friends and family wondering what's going on, but this is something where you have to trust yourself if that's the case. The other thing that I'm seeing for some of you is a decision based on passion. So you might be deciding to go towards something you want. Maybe you've worked for 10 years in finance and want to be an artist, and you have this big, kind of like right or left turn in your life. Some of you may be deciding to quit and move and join a partner on another part of the country or the world. So some big changes based on relationships and what your heart is saying. I think this is going to be good for you because whatever you were doing wasn't kind of bringing you as much abundance and joy as it could have. That's why the wheel was reversed, and Lady Justice is coming in to help you find the balance that you deserve. Remember to be picky about who you invest your time and energy in and with, and also what, I would say. Both the King of Wands and the Nine of Swords, which are reversed, are reminding you that it's going to be important to just make smart decisions about that. And what I also saw with this leadership card, the King of Wands, was what you do, what your reputation is, how you sort of present yourself is going to be much more important than anything that you could do in marketing or anything that you could try to verbalize. people see you. And if they don't, then it's also a sign that this is the wrong space to be in. Again, whether it's a relationship or a job. Control issues are going to play a very important role this month. Some of you might find a tug of war, particularly because of maybe it's just a maturity sort of difference. You may be the same age, but one partner definitely has some maturity issues, and that's going to test you, and you'll have to decide, can we balance it out? Do they want to change? Do I want to change? Is this enough for me? So finding that balance in control dynamics in your life is important. Be careful, as I said, with health, with operating any sort of machinery or vehicles. You have to stay focused this month. One thing with King of Wands too is that I feel like keeping an open mind when the card is reversed is important. I think that there's a lot of, for some of you, there could be some conflict negotiation, or you might be mediating or trying to find a way to bring harmony. And the only way that you can do that is at least by acknowledging how or why everybody landed in that situation. And it's rarely one-sided. So keeping an open mind, not being totalitarian, kind of finding a nice way to try to find compromise, I think is going to be essential. Some things may present themselves one way, but show up a different way. Know that if they fall out of your life this month, it's a blessing. Less is actually more, especially if you like what exists better. Harmony is key in your life, harmony and balance. Passion especially, we're looking around that third chakra and fourth chakra. So feeling like you have your power, feeling like you're passionate about what you're doing. Get these two chakras in order, and then everything that we see here is going to be in a much better place. We already talked about being careful around machinery for health, and also just not overdoing it when it comes to what you're consuming. When we look at wealth, be positive about what you want to create. Avoid gossip and avoid anyone in your life that's negative. Do, however, pay attention to a repetitive, almost annoying sort of rejection that might be happening somewhere in your life. If that happens, or if a block seems permanent, don't take it personally. Instead, get creative and think, what else can I do? This is not the best use of my time and energy, going back to investment here. People need to show up halfway, and that's really what I see with this look through the situation. I feel like your sign is naturally empathic, naturally sensitive, so I think you can already put that empathy in it. I think as I look at this card, the person is very distant. They're focused on something else. So try to see if you two can find a way to get one another's attention. And if that person continues to invest in something else, that's also a sign that they may not be ready for what you need or the intensity of the relationship. And then we have a card at the end that's reminding you to be able to laugh at some things, have a sense of humor, be playful, and really to put your heart and soul in whatever you want this particular month and this year as well. So overall, I really like what I'm seeing for your sign, some powerful images and energy and transformation opportunities. And I would like to now expand the forecast. Again, this is just for your sign to look at all of 2020. I'm going to pull 4 cards for the 4 different parts of the year. Okay, quarter 1, which is going to be January, February, and March. All right, we have the Emperor card in reverse. And this follows through with the Chariot card. This is really saying that it's important for you to get a handle on things that matter. This is one of the quintessential sort of, I would say, power cards, but also there is a give and take that comes with the Emperor. When I see Emperor, Empress, or a Queen or King of Wands reversed, it can be about sometimes not allowing people to find their own way. And so for those of you that are, I mean, the Emperor is also a father card, or for some of you that might be a single parent, it can also be a maternal card. But if there is someone in your life, a child, a loved one that you constantly feel like you're taking under your wing and you just wish they could figure it out, give them more of a leash this particular month. Let them try, let them fail. Failure is essential to growth. And instead of stopping them from failing, give them the tools to cope with the failure and how to kind of learn from that. I think that's more, I was talking to someone the other day about children, and I think one of the best things that you can do is to really be there for them and help give them tools to cope with the challenges that the world has in store for them. So whether it's bullying, whether it's failure, whether it's breakups, this is all part of life. Shielding them from that won't help them, but helping them realize that this is going to make them stronger, that they can get through this, that they can count on you to be there. That's going to be okay. So whoever's in your life that you feel like you have to help, let them come to you, but then give them the tools. You don't want to stop them from feeling pain. You want to help them get through the pain. That's really the message I see there. Because you can then invest this back into you. By the way, thank you for all of the super chats. I'll take a moment at the end and acknowledge you. So with the Emperor card, once you've stopped doing that, you can really focus on creation. And that's what this year is about for you, the fire that comes with the dragon. Keeping your eye on what you care about, starting to sort of light up and show what's possible. So I think your balance actually in the first 3 months is all about personal decisions. Now, if there's someone in your life that is authoritative and kind of like trying to control you, this is about stepping away from that, about saying enough is enough and trying to find a way that you can grow. So again, that card cuts both ways. Either way, it's about better power dynamics in relationships that matter, okay? Let's look now at the second quarter, which will be April, May, and June. This is when one of the changes happens for you. So we have the death card in reverse. And for me, death a lot of times gets a bad rap, but I like to see the reversal of death, because for me, that means that you have an idea of what you need to do and you're gonna stop stagnation. But you have to make the change in order to get out of being stuck. So if you're in an employment situation where you've had a conversation, you've done all the work, you've been waiting, maybe you've been waiting many years for something to shift and it doesn't, this is about really finally getting to the point that you are going to call your own bluff and decide to move on. If there's someone in your life that won't show up the way that we saw here with the love card, if they just keep kind of going off in their own space, this is also about deciding, I can't do that anymore. That is not the best investment of my time. I need to put it somewhere else. So you're walking away from something in that second quarter and in April, May, and June. And I think that that's a natural shift. And I see these two cards as very complementary. This was knowing what you needed to release. This is releasing it. With release comes freedom, comes space, comes opportunity. I'm sure many of you have quit a job. I know I have, or you've lost a job, or you've had to even losing someone in your life. This could also show a physical loss. But after that loss comes a sense of strength. I know that, several years ago, I lost my father. When you lose a parent, when you lose someone in your life, you become more than you thought you could because you have one less person to depend on. So if you lose a partner, if you lose a parent, if you lose a pet, I love Apollo, God bless him. But I know that one day when he passes, I would be devastated. But I also know that I will have learned from that and I will have gotten so much love out of that too. So whatever we receive from getting something, losing something also teaches us that. And there's going to be a lesson of loss or space in that part of your life as well. Try to look at it as a clean slate to make informed decisions, and maybe for some of you, even better decisions, because you now have a chance to invest something brand new. Okay, let's look now at the third quarter, July, August, and September. And by the way, again, thank you for the continued stickers and super chats. All right, we have the Five of Swords in reverse. It's interesting. I've noticed almost invariably every time I get the 7, I get the 5. This is actually better because with the 5, you really know what you need to focus on. And I think it's more of a momentary look over your shoulder like, okay, I've been down that path before. I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to win that argument. It's not worth my time. And I'm going to take my time and my energy and really put it into what I care about. So for this, I feel like there's a lot of relationship dynamics and power dynamics that are coming through to help clear you out over 2020. So at that point, just trust yourself, even if it means making a change that's unpopular or doing something that's unpopular. With that one, I also see that you don't owe anybody an explanation. If it feels right, if it feels good, then do it. That's actually what you're supposed to be doing. Okay, so we're going to be looking at October, November, and December. Now we have Three of Swords. This is a year of change across the board for you. For me, Three of Swords, notice this one isn't about heartbreak though. See how this person's kind of standing up for what they care about and what they want. What I actually see for this is being able to finally do what you want. And I feel like this whole year has ultimately kind of set you on the path that we see at the center here, which is I deserve to be happy. I deserve love. I want to create. It's that sense of passion and vision and control. You're getting your power back. We see that in the first quarter with the Emperor. And then you're releasing something that needs to be released, and then setting a new tone for the year. You're going to trust what's coming through. I'm showing you kind of how to bring each of these into the upright. And then if there's anything that you still are uncomfortable with, you have to kind of make peace with the fact that you can't bring sort of universal happiness or approval into your life. A lot of times when you do something that matters, it will be unpopular, but it might be the right thing to do. And I think for you, this dragon energy is about making that change that's necessary. I'm trying to give you an example of how this might work for you, but I think that people are always resistant to letting go of something that's comfortable and predictable. But sometimes within a risk or a change, unbelievable sort of blessings can come through. So I want for you to kind of imagine, when I'm looking at this really reminds me kind of Justice in the upright position now, standing firm and kind of communicating what she knows and sees. So I think that if you can just find that power, then people are going to see you. You're going to have like a stronger voice at the end of the year as well. So just know that it's not about making others happy. It's about making you happy. And I feel like your vision of who you want to be, your voice, and your communication skills are going to improve over the course of 2020. But there is a need to step away from something. So the sooner you do that, the better. The faster you can kind of get in releasing any sort of pain or uncertainty in your life. So it's a big healing year for you. I think that's why I saw the transformative comet energy. And as we go into your meditation, which is probably my favorite part, I'm going to try to bring in the energy of abundance. I'm going to try to help you bring in partnerships as well that are better, where people can see you and can kind of exist within your light and not try to overshadow you. And then really that you can make whatever changes you want to make happen, okay? So let's go ahead and get ready for this meditation. If you're at work, if you're walking, you can do this later. You can listen to it on replay. But if you're at a place right now, I know this is the weekend, so a lot of you might be at home. If you can meditate with me, I'd love for you to do that. One of the great things with doing a live meditation is that you can tap into the collective energy. I studied to be a yoga teacher, and I went through a lot of training, and I conducted a couple of classes as part of that training. And I know that whenever there's a group, it's almost as if you can go so much further out there. So that's what I wanted to start to do, because there's a decent amount of people here today, 655. Thank you. So let's go ahead and meditate right now. First things first, I want you to kind of tune into your body, and let's start with just releasing any stress that you might have. So we'll start with the shoulders, neck, and back. You can roll your shoulders up quickly and take a nice deep breath with me. And then on the exhale, let everything go. Release any of the tension that you've been holding on to, any of the weight that is sort of figuratively sitting on your shoulders, expectations from others, some of the difficulty that you might be kind of putting there because you have high expectations of yourself, any emotional pain that you're holding on to. We'll take one more deep breath and then just send it out to the horizon. We don't have any more time or space for that today. And then we're going to go into the energy of the comet. So one last breath, really invigorating your body and allowing for light and healing to come in. And send the other stuff out into the cosmos. Good. I want you to, for a moment, to imagine what a comet looks like in the sky. And we'll start off with what it looks like maybe even before it comes close to our planet, as that solid, grounded rock of ice, of other materials, just really solid, round energy. And I want you to see all of this is kind of like potential energy. It's not been tapped into. And I think for some of you, what's really important this particular month and year is to start to see all of those pieces of you that you've maybe put under the rug and you haven't seen the potential. This is a chance to ignite the fire within, starting with your heart space. So now imagine that you are maybe around Jupiter looking at the sun. So it's a little tiny pinpoint on the horizon. And you're starting to feel the gravity of the sun pulling you closer and closer as you get out of Jupiter's orbit. And then I want you to start to feel within your heart a warmth and a radiance that's starting to open up. And you start to see water vapors kind of around you, creating a halo of energy. And now as you come towards the inner 3 or 4 planets, you feel that heat and energy go throughout each and every chakra in your body, or in this case, within that sort of comet shell. And as you get close to the sun, step out of your body for a little bit and look for a moment at what you are becoming. See the light, see the heat, see the energy, see that brilliant trail that you're leaving behind you. Know that you have the ability to be a leader, that other people are looking up to you for an example. And one of the things that many of you might be doing this year is being a mentor, showing people the way. And all you have to do this is simply be yourself, follow your heart, follow your desires, and try to always make a decision based on love and light. And as you get closer and closer to the sun, you realize that's all you see is the light. We go through parts of our life where sometimes we are in the shadows. We are in fear, we are in doubt, we are mourning, we are doubting ourselves as well. And as you are face to face with one of the brightest objects in the sky, you see that all there is light, really. And all of these other things were illusions. They were shadows cast by light. And all you have to do is go back to the source to understand why the shadow existed. It was there to teach you. But here, there really is no shadows when you're right in front of the sun. It's too bright. So you now see your potential. You start to transform. You start to shift. You start to change. You're letting go of your skin. Interesting thing with the dragon card that we saw, there's kind of a reptilian sort of energy with it. So like a snake has to shed its skin to grow to the next level, so do you. It's time to let go of the filters that you held onto from the past. It's okay to disappoint a parent. It's okay to disappoint a friend, especially if you're doing something that you love and it's bringing you towards a goal that matters to you. Let go of those old filters, those old clothes, those old pieces of yourself. They're no longer valid. See the brightness and the lightness of your soul, of your heart, of this new energy that you're building, and then boomerang around the sun. We're starting a brand new solar cycle, brand new year. It's very appropriate that the comet was the image that came through. Let's take a deep breath and really make 2020 count. Let's get off to a jump start. I want you to feel as if your energy is going to really catapult into the new year. We'll take a few deep breaths, and not just gentle ones, really put some energy into it. Inhale. One more time, let go of what you don't want, don't need. Let that old skin go away. Deep breath, bringing in the light, showing your new true colors, and really feeling as if you are catapulted into January and 2020. Good. And now just let everything start to integrate, the new you. If you want to, take your hands and rub them together, feeling the power, the heat, and the warmth that's always been within you. Seeing the light as you're doing this. Take your left hand, put it on your heart, right hand on top of that. Feel that warmth that you just created. Allow it to bring you into the new year, to bring compassion, to bring power, to bring clarity into everything that you touch, and to illuminate everyone with this new version, this new vision of yourself. Put your hands in your lap. Slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. I think that's a nice way to start the new year. And I'm so pleased that I could gift that meditation to you and be here for you guys at the end of 2019 and the beginning of 2020. I think you have a really, really good new year ahead of you. There's some important decisions that you have to make. Some of them may be easier than others, but the ultimate energy of the year is that power that we saw with the dragon and that energy that I picked up on with the comet. And that's really what I want you to kind of take in and out of each and every day. So let me just go through a couple notes here at the end, and then I'm going to acknowledge anyone that's, if I can still see it in the chat, that was kind enough to do a super chat. If you ever want to get more information about my next schedule, I'm going to post this, like I said, later today or Monday at the latest. You can go to my website, and everything really that you need to kind of do to connect with me is there. It's just my name.com, nicholasashbaugh.com. And I'd love for you to join me on Instagram. I've been using stories over the past month as a way to remind people of which reading will be coming up next. And since I'm doing a lot of live readings now, and that's the new format, this is a good way to make sure that you don't miss out on your sign or your sun, rising, or moon. Same thing goes for if you want to join me on Twitter, it's Ashbaugh, and I do the same thing there. Facebook, also great. My professional Facebook is just my name one here. I have a personal one, but follow me on the professional one because you're going to get more notifications there. So YouTube, Patreon, and Facebook, it's just this, Nicholas Ashbaugh. And Patreon is a great way to show support on a monthly basis. YouTube has a join button. The join button is one that is a membership. It costs nothing to subscribe. So by the way, if you haven't subscribed, you should do that because you'll miss out on notifications. Join is different. That allows you to basically give a little bit back each month, get some extra stickers, and I'll start to, if I ever do a Q&A or any sort of exclusive content, I'll put it through that channel first so that you get a heads up on that. Also, for those of you that are kind of older school and just want to use PayPal, you can do paypal.me, and it's my name as well. I know that my moderator, Ryan, has been putting out those links. So thank you, Ryan, for showing up and helping out. And all of that is there. Also, if you happen to watch this on replay, I'm going to embed the links within the video. The first 3 cards will be basically being able to book an appointment, being able to connect on social media, and then becoming a patron. And I'll put those beneath the video as well. So let me take a moment and just thank anybody if I can still see it. A lot of times when there's a lot of chat, I can't see it, but I'll do it in comments later if I miss anybody. So I think it's Bethany. It got cut off a little bit, but thank you so much. Melissa, I appreciate you as well. Let's see who else. Kim, thank you so much. TJ, I appreciate your contribution. Lucid Dream, great name. Thank you for your contribution as well. And I think that was everybody. So much love and light to all of you that I actually did the super chat. That really does help it. This particular deck was a collector's deck. So things like that help me get an old-fashioned deck and keep everything up to date. So I do appreciate it. I'd like to also say I appreciate you guys showing up here because this meditation, everything that I'm giving you, one of my goals on the planet is to try to kind of illuminate and bring everybody's light up a little bit. So it was my pleasure and my honor that I could do that at the end of the year, at the beginning of the year, depending on when you're watching. And if you share this, thank you for helping others find this. It's been such an honor to be here for the past 5 or 6 years doing this. So sending you much love and light over the holiday season. Thank you for joining me from across the world. Love all of the sort of energy that's being brought into this chat today. So take care of yourselves and have a great 2020. Again, more live videos coming through in January. I'll be doing all of the February ones in the same style. So thanks for the support. All right, take care, everybody. Have a great day and really appreciate you.